Hello students, it's Mr. Dulberger here, and I'm excited to introduce you to this new video lesson called Designing a Skateboard Box / Bike Ramp. Here I will be putting the engineering design process to use. So here's my situation. Now that we've entered daylight savings time, it's very hard for me to drive anywhere, to go skateboard or go biking after work before it gets too dark. I'd like to have the ability to get a quick skateboard or biking session in without having to leave my neighborhood. So, my goal is to build a small but entertaining skateboard box that could also serve as a bike ramp. Here's the issue. I need to make sure that this skateboard box or bike ramp that I build is portable, and I'd really like to be able to fit it into the back of my car. This is one serious constraint. Some other criteria and constraints that I need to consider for this project would be building the skateboard box so that it could also serve as a bike ramp or drop, make it out of pressure treated wood so it can sustain bad weather. I wanted to include a grindable surface for skateboarding and of course easily portable. So 50 pounds or less would be ideal. I don't want to spend a lot of money on this project, and after measuring the size of my trunk area, it seems like 3.5 by 5 feet would be the maximum dimensions. So I've started to do some brainstorming and research. I thought about the skateboard box and bike ramp, and I thought about it in the sense of being a skateboard box, being a skateboard ramp, being a mountain bike drop, and being a bike ramp, and came up with all sorts of ideas and put together this little mind map to organize my thoughts. I even did a little research and looked up Charm City Skate Park's custom ramps, looked at OC ramps, as well as the MTB hopper ramp. I YouTubed some DIY backyard mountain bike drops. Here are the sources that I used. As I've started to narrow down my ideas, I think I want to have something that kind of combines a skateboard box, almost a ramp-like feature of a cornhole board with a ramp flap at the very beginning. So when I narrow down my ideas, I like to use a pros and cons chart. You could also use a decision matrix or ask an expert. It's time for me to select a solution. I think I know what this ramp should look like. So I've done a technical drawing to explain exactly what the ramp flap might look like, how the cornhole board feature comes into play, what supports we might need, the size of the wood that I need to buy, and any other materials that are necessary on my materials list. I even thought it would be a good idea to create a model. This model is functionable with some tech deck skateboards and even a tech deck bike. Check it out. Here is the skateboard box / bike ramp in skateboard box format. So you can see that the box lays flat. It would lay flat on the ground. Here I can model it with my little tech deck here. Whoops. And I'd be able to ollie up and grind, or ollie up onto the box. And this box would be nice and sturdy in the middle here, because if you flipped it over, you'd see there'd be some 2x4s crossing in a cross pattern like this to provide some support to the plywood. Now you'll also notice that there's either a 2x6 or 2x4 running this way, running this way, running this way, but not one running this way. And that's because the ramp flap would be able to fold in all the way so the box could still lay flat and be something you could skateboard on, right? But what if we wanted to use a bike? Well, that's when we'd be using the box as a ramp. So there would be these little doohickeys here to prop the ramp up on some hinges, and this would be able to be flipped over. You'd prop these up, you'd pull the ramp flap out, and now you got yourself a bike ramp. Okay? Now the issue is we want to make sure that these 2x4s providing support do not get into the way of the ramp flap folding all the way in, and they also don't get into the way of these prop up mechanisms being able to fold back in so that we can turn it right back into a skateboard box. It also would probably be good to put this on some sort of hinge or something, so when you're moving it around, this isn't flapping as you're trying to carry this box to a different location, and maybe the same thing with these. So, there you have it. Alright, so here it is. Version 1.0 of the skateboard ramp slash box and bike ramp slash drop. So, pretty excited with how it turned out. When it's on its belly right here, you can see it's great for skateboarding. We got two sides to grind on. You can do a little manual pad going on right here. And then let's talk about when it's in bike mode. So when you want to put it in launch ramp mode, you just simply bring these guys out like this. And then here's the ramp flap. This was an add-on, not originally a thought, but a modification that was necessary to keep the flap from moving up and down. Added this little lock. So we bring that out. And then we just simply take it and put it on its belly there. And now you can see it could be used as a bike launch ramp, and it's pretty sturdy when you kick these guys out all the way to the side. So what do you think, Dylan? Oh, you think it's time to give it a whirl? All right, sounds good. Let's give it a whirl. And sometimes your sesh gets interrupted. It's all good. Thanks, FedEx man, for doing your job. Well, I'm definitely pleased with version 1.0. I think the side rails need to be smoothed out for some grinding. I think that I may have exceeded 50 pounds, which means I could add some handles on the side to make it more transportable. And additional legs might go on the bottom there to make the ramp smaller for beginners.